it would not be Halloween if we didn't get a little creepy, a little history lesson in. And Batman himself is here, or David Ewing, talking Nashville haunts. Looking good, friend.
Yes, he looks great, and he says there are a lot of ghost stories here in Music City.
Yes, today we're going to talk about Union Station Jelly, right down the street from your wonderful honky tonk on Broadway. And Bunny, this is better than being on your podcast, being on Local on 2. Love being here. Happy Halloween, everybody. We're going to talk about Union Station.
Yes, just had an anniversary.
125-year anniversary, one of the most haunted buildings in all of Nashville, Tennessee. Union Station was built in 1900 as our train station. Before we had an airport, we had Union Station. And the great thing about Union Station, it's literally transported millions of people over the years, but some in spirit still are in the halls and the walls of Union Station.
Really?
So probably the most famous of them that the hotel talks about is Abigail. Abigail met her fiance at Union Station right before World War II. Most of the soldiers from Nashville left Union Station on their way to Europe. And a lot of people met and literally got engaged before, and I'll wait for you when the war is over. And then Abigail returned triumphantly to Union Station after the war was over, but there was no fiance. He died in action in Europe.
No.
And it was said that Abigail was so distraught and so in grief, she threw herself on the train tracks and was killed by a train. And ever since then, room 711 of Union Station, which has that view of where she died, is haunted. Haunted with the spirit of Abigail. You'll hear furniture moving, you'll hear sounds, the phone will ring at different times, and it's just really Abigail's spirit is still in that room.
Freaky.
But one of the worst train crash in American history happened on July 9th, 1918, when two trains met head-on, full speed, 60 miles an hour behind the Belmead Publix at Dutchman's Curve. And 101 people died that day. The train that was at fault in this accident left Union Station just minutes before this crash and collided with the night train from Memphis that was coming into Nashville. William Lloyd, the engineer of the Memphis train, had been working with the railroad for over 30 years and was looking forward to retirement. It was his last day. And he was dreaming about pulling that big steam engine under the shed at Union Station and going back to East Nashville, enjoying a fat railroad pension the rest of his life, but he never made it. So that crash took place at 7:10 a.m. And what ends up happening every time of the anniversary of that crash at 7:10, you see the clock tower, when it strikes 7:10, you hear arguments of two men going back and forth, the two engineers, and then you hear a screeching sound and a crash. And that's the kind of spirit of these two fighting engineers who sadly both also lost their lives during that time. The other interesting story relates to President Roosevelt. President Roosevelt was here in 1936 to accompany the body of the Speaker of the House, Joe Burns. Joe Burns was from Tennessee, Middle Tennessee. He was our congressman. He was the Speaker of the House. He dies in office as Speaker of the House. So they have his body lay in state in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda, and FDR escorts his body back to Nashville by train. And he's buried at Mount Olivet. And what's interesting about that, when they loaded the body from the train, to the Union Station, he sat in his coffin was in the lobby of Union Station for much longer because they had to wait for the horse and carriage and all the other presidential parties. So it stayed in state in Union Station for about an hour. And so today you can hear gaveling, light gaveling, kind of in the wood of the old Speaker's gavel in the lobby of Union Station. And that is the ghost of Joe Burns.
Oh, That is wild.
stories.
Chills. David, thank you so much. We love having you here, and your costume looks great.
Yes. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. David, he does it all. For more quick history lessons and to see cool photos around the Nashville area, check out his Instagram at the Nashville I Wish I Knew.